everybody. Thank you so much for coming to the last one of our summer series at the Department of Environment in collaboration with the Ritz. Thank you so much for hosting us. Today we're going to look at a Caribbean sharpnose, not reef, a sharpnose shark. This species is quite rare, in Cayman at least. But first of all, sharks are fish. Let's start at the basics. But they are a little bit different to the normal reef fish on our reefs. First of all, sharks have a cartilaginous skeleton. Fish on the reef, they have bones. Sharks don't have bones, they also don't have ribs, they just have a cartilaginous vertebra and the cartilaginous head. That's the squishy stuff that our nose and our ears are made out of. So we have a first dorsal fin and a second dorsal fin. We also have the pec fins, that's like on an airplane, the side fins. And then you also have the tail, and that has a specific shape. The upper lobe is much longer than the lower lobe, and that will help the shark with uplift when it swims. If it doesn't swim, it will sink. It also has a very oily liver. That's instead of the gas bladder. The oil in the liver is called squalene, and it is very oily, and the fat content will also help the shark to maintain uplift when it is swimming. And you can actually identify the species of shark by looking. If you just find the teeth, you can probably figure out what species of shark it is from, because each shark has a specific shape, form, almost like a fingerprint in humans. The shark breathes through gill slits. This species has 5. Not every shark has 5 gill slits. Some have 6, some have 7. And then the last one I wanted to tell you about, which you probably heard of, is the electroreception. Sharks have one special sense, and that means they can pick up an electric current, a tiny electric current in the water column. It's a special organ, and it's called ampullae of Lorenzini. Those are tiny pores all over their body, but most highly concentrated around the snout. And those can pick up the tiny minute electric fields that we and every other organism emits alone by our heartbeat. And that's how the shark is investigating its environment and also can detect prey. The Caribbean reef has a broad, wide nose, and also the dorsal fin has a very different shape. Caribbean reef and blacktips are very similar, and the blacktips have the long, narrow snout with a pointy tip, so I'm like, maybe it's a blacktip shark baby. But the blacktips, they have a small eye, and this one is in relation to his head quite large, so it would be again be more of a Caribbean reef shark species than a blacktip. And because of the white bands here, the shape of the dorsal fin, and then with the large eyes, I came to the conclusion that this is a Caribbean sharpnose shark. This species occurs in the tropical West Atlantic Ocean, including the Caribbean and South America. It usually occurs from inshore on continental or coastal shelves down to depths offshore, down to depths of 500 meters. In Cayman, it is illegal to catch, harass, and kill any sharks. But among our neighboring countries, catches of this species are highest in Belize and Honduras. And in Belize and in Honduras, it is also one of the most abundant species to be captured as bycatch and targeted by artisanal fisheries. This is actually the second record that we had in Cayman. The first one, both individuals arrived dead, sadly. The first one was in March 2023. It was getting entangled in a ghost net, like an abandoned net in the ocean, and it drifted in from offshore onto our national waters and closer to the reef, where it then was located and removed by Charles E. Banks back then. We found the shark in it. I also had a look at it and I identified it as a Caribbean reef shark. Obviously this species has to keep swimming, so when they're getting entangled and they can't continue to swim, then they will die. This one here was found on a Honduran fishing boat or vessel that was seized by the Cayman Border Control in conjunction with the DOE enforcement. I guess you guys are from there. Hello? No? Oh, Coast Guard, sorry. Wrong uniform. They seized the fishing boat with a bunch of other things, but also the shark was on it, and because it's illegal to possess any shark or any parts of sharks in Cayman. It was seized and we are looking at it today. The total length is from the snout, tip of the snout, all the way across, 85 centimeters. Then after that, we also take the pre-caudal length. It is 64 centimeters. Pre-caudal length is just before the caudal fin. The girth will just take behind the pec fins, and that is 28 centimeters, please. Now, the next step is to identify whether it's a boy or a girl shark. Do you see two sausages or just two fins? Two fins. So what is it? A boy or a girl? A boy. No, that's a girl. The boy has the two sausages. Okay, so it's a female shark, and so the formula, we just plugged in the 85 centimeters, and it came up with 6.5 years. So it's an adult, clearly, and the maximum recorded age of the species was 8 years. So it's already really far onto its like natural limit, if you want to believe the records that we have in science. Then let's have a look if it has any obvious injuries. I'm just looking obviously for, okay. And I found a little hole here on the side of the mouth, on the right-hand side, little hole, and that was clearly from a hook. So the hook was removed, but the hole remains. So it clearly, I mean, we found it on a fishing vessel, so my suspicion was quite high that it was because of fishing, but I didn't know if it was maybe caught in a net or actually with a hook, so we can confirm it was being caught with a hook. Oh, and there is some trauma on the other side where the hook was. It might have been because of the capture when it was struggling. So cause of death was like fishing related. Now I'm gonna cut it open and we'll have a look at the organs inside, including the stomach content. We got the liver. It has 2 lobes and it is the largest organ because it's the fat storage. It provides uplift. It's very important. Obviously, if the shark hasn't fed in a long time, it will feed from this fat storage until it will feed again. This liver is squishy, it's pink, so it looks like it was a healthy shark, well nourished, nothing wrong with it. So this is the stomach. Up here you got the mouth opening, then this is the stomach, and you've got the gallbladder and the spleen here, and then this side is the intestine, and then this obviously leads to the cloacae where the poop comes out in the end. So the way we identify the gut content is in 2 ways. We'll get the volume first, and then we identify any prey items that might have been in there. Okay, we'll start with this 475 milliliters. We'll add the gut content to that, and then we'll subtract the final volume minus the initial, and then we know how much was in the stomach. The final volume is 500, so it was really just 25 milliliters of stomach content, and really there was nothing stomach content. I would call that just stomach juices that are supposed to be in there for digestion. So it was definitely hasn't eaten in a while. Oh, is that the uterus? Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Okay, since it's a female and it's an adult, I'm not sure, but I think there might be something in the uterus here. So just as a background information, reproduction in sharks has evolved and in 3 different ways. You have the one shark that has a uterus. It has a belly, an umbilical cord like humans, like literally the same. And the babies are in the uterus. They are connected to an umbilical cord and they are being fed the nutrition with the placenta. Then you have another version, also live birth, where you have no placenta, but you have egg yolks. So literally they are laying eggs inside the uterus. There is no umbilical cord, but each embryo has an egg yolk attached, and then they're being fed by the egg yolk, almost like a chicken egg, yes. And they're being protected by the uterus, and then they're being born alive. And then the last one, we don't have that species in the Caribbean, but maybe some dogfish or cat sharks in South Africa, for example, or in Florida, they lay eggs. So they actually put eggs on like kelp or on coral. And then they have also an egg yolk. It's an egg casing with an egg yolk, and then the shark will get born inside the egg and then wiggles its way out when it's done. So this shark species is ovoviviparity, which means they are being alive born, but they are with an egg yolk inside the uterus. And I am seeing here, I'm seeing 3 egg yolks. Ooh. I think I have an egg with the embryo. It's obviously super tiny, you don't even see anything. But essentially this is how it looks like. So this is the shark on top here. Well, the embryo baby shark. And then that's the egg yolk. So she just got, like, her pregnancy is like in the first, I guess, few months or so. All right, do you want to see the heart? That's the last organ I can show you. The brain, I can't really show you, even though it's super interesting, but they don't survive the freezing process, so it's just going to be mush when I take it out. But I can show you the heart. It's a 2-chambered heart. Unlike our heart, ours has 4. So that's the heart. I hope that you can see it like this. The heart has 2 chambers. One chamber is responsible to pump the blood to the gills, where it gets oxygenated, and then the second chamber pumps the oxygenated blood to the rest of the body and back to the heart, and then it goes back to the gills, gets oxygenated, and back to the body. All right. If you want to have a look at something really close, you're more than welcome to come up. That is like the assessment and the necropsy as it's full. I'm just going to take a few samples. I take fin clips, muscle samples, and so forth for further analysis. But this is essentially the end of the actual workup. You want to see the eggs? I'm going to put the eggs to the front so you guys can see it.